What's up guys, welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to be continuing on with our SwiftUI tutorial series, and in this particular tutorial we are going to be taking a look at the ShareLink view in SwiftUI. Now, what is ShareLink? Well, the ShareLink view is a view in SwiftUI that allows us to bring up a system share sheet so we can share content from our apps to other apps, whether it be sending messages to people with an image or text attachment, or sharing a photo or text on social media or something like that. We can do that with a system share sheet summoned by ShareLink. There are a few ways that you can use ShareLink. You can give it an item or items, so multiple things or just one. You can specify a message and a subject for the thing you want to share. Not every app will use those. Some will use the subject, some will use the message, some will use both, some will use neither. It really depends on how they handle incoming content that's being shared through the system. So let's go ahead and get started by going into Xcode, or into our simulator, I guess, because I have the app running at the moment. So here's our simulator. There's really nothing too complicated here, nothing too special. It's just a text editor view inside of a form. That's it. That's all this is right now. What we want to do is, in the toolbar, we want to have the ShareLink. Now, the ShareLink will have its own standard appearance and a standard label if you don't provide one yourself. It'll use that up arrow in that square box symbol that you usually see everywhere as the share icon. And then its default label will be share. You can customize that label and that icon if you want, but if you don't, that's fine. You can just keep it as is, and it will be just fine, even accessibility-wise. So, let's go ahead and go into our code now. And the first thing I want to do is I want to wrap this in a navigation stack, just so we can more simply see our toolbar on iOS. Now, I'm not going to run this on my Mac because I don't want you to see my recent share destinations for like messages and stuff, because there's personal information there that I don't care for you to see, right? So we're not going to run this on the Mac. Just know that this will work on most, if not all, platforms. And it works the same exact way. All right? So, let's go to our body here. And we're going to encapsulate this form in a navigation stack like that. All right, there we go. I'm going to set a navigation title to, we'll say, new comments or something, right? Or new notes, let's say, right? New note. All right, so if we run this now, we have a successful build, and this is what we see. So we can see our new note heading, and then we have our text editor. So far, so good. Next, inside of the navigation stack, or even outside the navigation stack, it depends on what you want to do, I'm going to attach it to the form dot toolbar. And inside of the toolbar, we will have a share link. So capital S, share, capital L, link. And then the first parameter to our ShareLink initializer is going to be the item or items that we want to share. Now, we're only going to share the text from the text editor, but know that you could share an image as well. You could share pretty much anything that you want here. So we'll say item. You know, it could be a URL even, it could be whatever. Item will be text, our state variable. And then we can give it a label if we want. Otherwise, we can leave that alone. Our label is going to be a content closure. So the label can be any view. It can be text, it can be label, it can be an image, whatever you want the label to be. But just keep accessibility in mind. The user has to know what the button is actually used for. Otherwise it's not going to be useful. And if people can't figure out how to share stuff in your app, if that's one thing they really find important, they're gonna uninstall your app, right? So just keep that in mind. You have to keep the user experience intact. But really, that's all we need. We don't need any sort of subject or message or a label even. We just need to give it an item or items to share, and that's it. The system does the rest. So let's save that and run. There we go. All right, so here we are. You can see up there in the top right corner, we have our share button. And it is using that system default SF symbol. And according to VoiceOver, the label is share, which is perfect. When we tap this button, it brings up the system share sheet. Now, of course, VoiceOver and the simulator aren't going to get along here, but we can see we have a couple share destinations. We get a little bit of a preview of what we're sharing, which is just our string of text there. Assuming you have anything entered. You could have the disabled modifier applied to the share link to where you can disable the share link when the string is empty. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we can do that. We'll say dot disabled text dot is empty. So now if the text is empty, it will be disabled, and then it won't be disabled if it isn't empty. So we'll run this again. There we go. Now the share button is dimmed because it's disabled. But if we go into the text editor and we enter something, so this is some text. Now the share button is enabled because there is text in the text editor. When we hit the share button again, the share sheet shows up and you can see this is some text as our preview. Now, that's another thing that you can provide to your ShareLink, is you can provide a preview to your ShareLink. So if you want to preview the image that you're sharing, you can do that. All that sort of stuff. So the ShareLink is fairly customizable for the different scenarios in which you might want to use it, I urge you to experiment a little bit. To kind of get your bearings on how this works, I urge you to share this string content to a new note, right? So, so go ahead and tap notes or click notes in your share sheet and then save it to a new note. Open notes and you'll find that new note there. And that's how you'll know that this worked exactly as intended. I can't do that here because VoiceOver in the simulator is a little bit of a pain in my neck, but that's fine. So that pretty much does it for this video, guys. Thank you all so very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.